Morning. This is Shannon with For Humanities on this Wednesday, talking to you guys about Women in Alignment Wednesday. So right now, as you can see, that I am using StreamYard and I am using Restream, where I am broadcasting on Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, and Twitch. So for those of you guys who come on any of those platforms, hello, and thank you guys for coming. So this morning we're on a little bit early, but we're going to be talking about women in alignment. And usually that is a Wednesday topic where we are going to talk about how women as a whole need to be in alignment. When you look at over the years and time that women have made great progress and strides toward being and becoming independent, you have some situations where there is, the women's movement. And then when you have just other situations where women are, moving forward and progressing in entrepreneurship as well as, in their own businesses as well as in business, in, mainstream corporations. There are always women who are making great strides, but we also know that women also have still continued to be below the thresholds of earning potential. So when we think about being in alignment as women, we have to think about each other individually. We have to think of each other as a group. Now, by no means is this a broadcast to talk about women and men and who's up above the other, because I am a Christian, so I understand what God's will is. But at the same time, there has been situations where women have been put in and placed in due to circumstances that they do have to play the front role. Now, no one said they have to play daddy, so let's be clear. Now, I understand that who's in the home and who's not in the home, but men are men and women are women. Moms are moms and dads are dads. We're going to just keep that and table that conversation for a whole nother broadcast. Okay. So just keep rolling with me here. So when we look at being in alignment, we have to think about the things that women have to do or the strides that we have to make in order to get to that next level of where we want to be, the next level and beyond. Because again, your threshold is yours. Your top limit is yours, and everyone has something different. But when we look at the fact of how women come together and how we work together as a unit is still a commonality that we have with each other, is that being connected by lots of different things. Doesn't necessarily mean, by moms, because all women are not mothers as far as legal or physically birth, but women can be nurturers to others that are not necessarily by birth of their own. So long as we can keep that in mind, we can understand this whole alignment thing. So we're going to jump right on in real quick because I don't want to take much of your time. But when we talk about women in alignment, usually I'm coming from this perspective of the SWOT analysis, because we're be it that it truthfully as it is. That SWOT analysis can do a whole lot of things in your life. It will help you get your life and fix your face. So what we're about to do is talk about what we did. We have done this for the 4 weeks because we talked about the strengths, the weaknesses, the opportunities, and the threats. But now we're going to talk about the accountability part of it, because if you missed the broadcast a couple Wednesdays back, you would have caught that, and you can go back and just scroll through my timeline and you can find it. But when we look at the accountability part of the SWOT analysis, that is just something that I added on to it. I call it SWOTA because it's like, okay, there's an A. There's accountability factor that goes into place with all the strengths, with the weaknesses, with the opportunities and the threats. There's also accountability. And that is why the platform I have right here below, as you can see, is called My Accountability Partner. Now, when we think about when we've identified our strengths, we're strong, we're good at certain things, then we identify our weaknesses. And then that's the things that you're not so good at. Those are the parts where you got to get somebody to come in and step in for you. When you think about the opportunities are definitely there if you understand the first parts, the strengths and the weaknesses. Now, when we move into the threats, as I had shared with you guys, threats can be good, threats can be bad. It's different. It goes both ways. But now, when we move into this accountability part of the SWOT analysis on your life and your business, we're thinking about, and I'm going to talk to you guys about that accountability part. That accountability comes from all of the four before, even people who you have brought into your life that's going to help you. When you think about accountability, you think about someone who's going to be there and knock on the door, or, knock on some door somewhere and say, hey, what's going on? You told me that you wanted to do X and Y and Z, or better yet, in the European world, Z. But you would say that you wanted to do all these things, and no one is knocking on your door holding you accountable for that. Don't you wish somebody was there holding you accountable for something? I mean, just think, all those things that you've been wanting to do, all those things that you've been talking about doing, and you said it's going to happen, and only you know a lot of them. Everybody doesn't know. But just imagine if someone did. Do you understand why we might not necessarily tell people everything that we want to do? Because somebody's going to hold you to it, right? You can think about it and talk about it as a child and say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to be this, I'm going to have this. Those are great things to say. Sometimes we say them because, it sounds good and everybody else is talking about it. So let me say I want something too. But when it really comes down to the accountability part, that's where as they say, the rubber meets the road. That's when you're actually going to take it into account and it's actually going to be working towards those plans and steps to get that done. So when we talk about women in alignment, we have to also be held accountable. We have to be held accountable. Now, as well as I know, as women, we have a whole lot on our shoulders, our heads, our hands, our feet, everything. But at the same time, what are we doing to be held accountable to ourselves? What are we doing to be held accountable to each other? So in order for us to be in alignment, you must understand accountability. Accountability is going to make you show up. Accountability is going to make you relentless. Accountability is going to make it so that when you see your sister friend struggling, you're going to step in. Whichever way you do it, you're going to step in. Now, I'm not saying you're going to step in and just do things and do things and do things. You might got the charger, okay? And you just tell her, look, you about to pay for this service. So go ahead, go to my PayPal, go down here below and sign up. Because the thing is that as we understand, we know when we put our money to it, or we got to go and take something out of our pocket, we're going to appreciate it. Now, by no means, don't think that I'm saying people who don't pay for stuff don't appreciate it. Nope, because I've gotten plenty of things that I didn't pay for, and I appreciate every minute and every opportunity I get. When I'm talking about somebody, I'm going to mention it. And I'm going to let people know, yes, this person helped me. I got a whole lot of people that helped me. We're going to talk about them. But the thing is that in order to be held accountable, you got to look at the accountability part of it. You have to be able to understand that accountability goes for you as well as for them. It's not just you going in and getting all up in their business and saying, hey, did you do this? Did you do that? It's actually going to be holding you accountable too, because guess what you have to do? You have to check in, right? You have to show up. You have to also be the one to keep that on top of mind so that you know exactly what it is that they were supposed to do. You're being held accountable as well. By any means necessary, you are, and you're holding them accountable. So with all of that, that's all we have for you today. So if you want more of this, you want to sign up for my accountability partner, you still have time. It's just February. We still getting started. So that's bit.ly/my accountability partner. If you're looking for someone that's going to get you moving, keep you going, and make it happen for you, that's where you want to do. Hey, Coach Dave. Look at Coach Dave. So there you go. Bit.ly/my accountability partner. We got two options for you. We have the option that is called Write the Vision 2020. That's where we meet once a month. We launch every quarter and we meet for a whole year. For a whole year, you got me right by your side. You got me, just call me. But at the same time, we have another one that's for those of you guys who got get that impact done. Got 6 weeks going for you. Go check them out. See which one works for you. There's one that's $80 and there's one that's $47 a month. Check it out. See which one works and let's make it happen. Bye, you guys.